Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And hope everybody had a good holiday. And let's go ahead and open it up to questions. Q&A, anything goes. Unmute yourself, type in.
And then go ahead, Chris, then Shraddhananda.
Hey, Chris.
Oh, thanks, Sam. Hey, Greg. Hey, so I'm in a new stage in this recovery. So we spoke last week, the congestion was more in my heart.
Yes.
Now
Okay.
it's going
process.
Yeah. Right. Now it's up in my throat and it's kind of burning today. And so I gargled with bay laurel and salt and warm water a couple times today. Anything else you can tune into for me?
And so I can't remember, did you get a diagnosis or did you test positive or?
Oh yeah, I tested positive early November.
Okay. So early November. So we're on like what, week 2, week 3?
4, maybe
4.
5. Hang on. Yeah, 5, maybe. Let's see. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Week 5.
Okay, so you have a burning throat.
It seems like at night I cough, from my chest. Although last night was more severe than other nights. And I found a cord on my throat today.
Yeah, the tendency is when you get sick, like it's like much easier to get corded and stuff. And, sometimes the cords maybe precipitated it, but, it's always good to check. Boy, that's been so long. So let's have you do this, concerned about the sore throat, concerned about the still having a lot of mucus.
Actually, there's no mucus coming out.
There's no, like, you don't have anything in the nose or nothing in the chest. Like if you're coughing.
Sometimes it's not coming. I mean, sometimes, Greg, there's not a lot coming out.
Okay. Tenderness in the throat or anything like that? Like
yes.
If you, there is, okay. So let's do this. You're gargling with bay laurel. I'd put several drops of bay laurel on your wrist, or put it in like a little bit of lotion, and you can just rub it on the areas. Okay. If you want to rotate it, you could use Neoli, which is like the cousin of tea tree, like Neoli over the lymph nodes, even on the chest over by the armpits. Let's bump up your energy levels and put a little bit more spunk in your immune system, like that. You've had it for so long. I think, not just fortifying, but we need to Neoli can kind of like help like stimulate. It's not like stimulating, but it's like it helps like the fires of the immune system like burn. You know what I mean? Like if you're really trying to deal with something, like if you're fighting off an infection in an acute phase, but like at 4 or 5 weeks, that starts to be like it's a chronic infection. And it's just, all that means is it's just been there a while. Like it doesn't mean that it's like escalated or stepped up a notch, but that's the thing with some of these variations is, before COVID, there was a flu that went around where people would get it and then they would get better. And then about 2 or 3 weeks later, they'd get it again, like they'd cycle through it again. And
I was
with variations of COVID, like I think we just got to be aware, like there's just all kinds of potentials that are there. And so I'd like you to take some time internally as well. Like if you had time, Thuyonol, Geranol, Linalool. Thuyonol would be my first choice. Even if you don't have those and you just have regular like red or white thyme or benchmark, Any of that would work, but ideally timethanol would be the thing, and 2 or 3 drops, probably like 3 or 4 times a day. Like let's just go after this pretty aggressively.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna, I want you to get better. Like, it's not like, oh, we got to do this
Oh,
because
yeah.
something else is going to happen. It's just like 5 weeks. God, that's got to be miserable. Like, it's just, let's
I
help your
think I'm
body.
cycling. I think I'm cycling through it, like you said. Like I was
Yeah.
feeling better, and then
Yeah, it makes me wonder if that is a new mutation, because like I said, it was about maybe 2 years before COVID. There was some really, I mean, it was pretty much everything that I saw that was like considered a flu. It was like the person would get better, and then they would, like within 2 to 3 weeks, cycle through and like go through another like 2-week period again. And so I used Naoli a lot to treat that, just because of the nature of what it was. Like, you want to, there's certain things that you use to like fight it when it's in the acute phase, but when it starts to turn chronic, I like to go to like Ravensara or potentially Naoli. Naoli is just, it helps to strengthen the immune system. Like, even like with allergies and things, it could be something that you would use there. But yeah, pine. I mean, if you wanted to rub like some Sylvester pine on the chest, even though the respiratory tract seems to be doing better, just my experience from those past situations, I'd almost like treat the symptoms, even though that they're gone. I'd still treat them for a little while, just in case it like cycles back around. And so I would just keep treating like things in the respiratory tract, even though they might not be present right now, like until you're completely free of this. I would treat it even as if it's there, even if it's not.
to keep taking Monarda.
I would keep taking some Monarda. I would bump up some time. Definitely the Bayloral on the throat. So a variation, like if you want to rotate something for a sore throat,
Okay.
you know, Monarda can be good for a sore throat, but it's usually like sore throats that are related to like gum health. Like, you know, if the gums are like there's an infection in the gums or something, and then it drops down into the throat, Monarda is really good for that. But for this, I would stick with Bayloral. But if you want to switch it up a little bit, is you could use turmeric. Like, you know, do a couple of drops of turmeric and gargle with it. And I even would take a couple of drops of turmeric and then rub it on the inside of the gum.
Okay.
And that can help alleviate some of the lymph nodes and the tenderness and all of that. Taking it internally as well, but and I mean, I hate to have you just take a whole bunch of things, but some golden seal from the health food store might be a good idea, just by itself, not with that. What's that?
I have it.
Yeah, I was gonna say not with golden echinacea, just straight up golden seal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And last week you mentioned let's wait to take lobelia. Do you want me to take that now?
That it's a sore throat. I think just the things that we've said. I don't. I think just the things that we've said right now. I think that's quite a bit. That's really going after lymphatic function, lymph function. Yeah.
Okay.
And will you email me in like about 2 or 3 days and just let me know what your progress is with doing all this?
Oh, thank you so much. I will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I
5
ask
weeks
one more
has got
question?
to, yeah, 5 weeks has got to be miserable.
Yeah, so I was feeling better. I was doing things normal, and then I noticed like at the end of last week, I was getting tired again, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, God, I hope that's not the mutation, because that's,
It's the Greek version.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the Greek special.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's right. It came from your trip. I forgot about that.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, Greg, can I ask you one more question?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I have this friend that I worked on Thanksgiving. Since January, she's been progressively getting worse, where she's, losing her, she's getting dizzy, she can't be diagnosed, doctors did all sorts of tests. So wondering if you can tune into her energy body. There was a lot of imbalance in the brain I
Right.
found, and the main
Right.
a lot of fear to the point where she can't really function at work.
The fear was going on before the dizziness or after the dizziness?
Um, I picked up on some anger towards her, and she confirmed that, but it's really towards her husband. But she works with a person. She worked with that person. There's also her mother passed away, and she was a primary caregiver, and I'm sure she was really close to her mom. That probably has another factor. I mean, factoring into that.
And it's been going on since January.
January, yeah. And none of the doctors could figure out what's wrong.
She's got some pretty big cords to the front and back solar plexus, and her basic has a bunch of stuff in it from other people being like upset at her.
Okay.
Yeah. I clean up the diaphragm too, like go in through the solar plexus and clean the diaphragm.
Mhm.
You could probably have her clean up with hyssop as well, like inhale a lot of hyssop. The hyssop will reduce some of the psychic attack kind of stuff, the projections.
Mhm.
It'll calm her body down. It will deepen the breath, and the vertigo and dizziness. Like one of the best treatments is hyssop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, you kind of cover a lot of ground with just a single oil there.
Got it.
She's got a lot of projections at her basic chakra, though.
Huh.
You have
Okay.
to really focus on that kind of energy to clean it up, because a lot of times if you go through and clean it, other things come off, but that doesn't. So
The
yeah,
basic.
like, yeah, so you really have to go kind of psychic attack and then clean the basic, and then clean her arms and legs.
Yeah, I did a lot of that, the arms and
Yeah.
legs. Yeah,
There's a bunch on her basic.
on the basic.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Regardless, like if there's like psychic attack projected at somebody, regardless of like if you see it in the solar plexus or the throat or the ajna, it's always either directly corresponds to the basic, or the basic is also impacted, and usually the basic is the worst out of everything.
Ah, that's why
So
she
like
can't
if you,
function.
yeah, so like if you clean that up,
Okay.
it a lot of times will regulate some of the other chakras. Like her Ming Men is overactivated, but it's if you inhibit it, it's just going to pop right back because the basic's so dirty.
Got it.
Yeah.
Are you seeing any cracks?
Cleaning it up will resolve that. But the environment, like maybe,
I think she works from home, but
I say
regardless,
one of her
just
environments is really dirty. Like have her clean it up with like some camphor or something.
okay.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be very much, but it's, yeah, I mean, sometimes those situations are just, you were sitting at your desk while somebody was grinding on you. You know what I mean? And so the office is contaminated because that's where you were sitting. you know,
I see.
yeah.
I'm not sure if she works from home. But that's another thing is that they purchased a new home maybe a year or so ago, and the person who lived there before passed away in the home. Not sure, but
That
you know,
might be what it
I've
is.
been to her home. It doesn't feel
Have her burn the incense in the bedroom.
in the bedroom. Okay,
Yeah, I think
camper.
that's where it's at.
I see. Okay,
Yeah. And if the person passed there, that's probably why.
yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Greg.
You're so welcome. Keep me posted though.
I will. I will.
5 weeks. We got to call in the big guns.
Okay.
Not that we haven't called in the big guns before, but like that's a long time to be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Mm-mm.
And then go ahead, Shraddhananda, then Cindy.
Hey,
Hi
how are
everybody.
you? How are you?
I'm about the same, but a little better, but I'll take it.
Oh, so I had the weekend off, so my brain checked out. So you'll have to remind me what was.
I've just been, dealing with an impaired ANS and chronic fatigue from COVID.
Oh, that's right, boy.
And so I was
That's right.
wondering, I read the write-up in the newsletter about ANS and about the Kundalini oil, and I wondered if either of both of those might be beneficial for me.
ANS definitely, I think, could be helpful. I mean, the Kundalini oil could, but I would like to be probably a little bit more specific. Run me down your symptoms again. Like you do have a bunch of mucus in your gut.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with intestinal parasites like 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I can usually get those under control with oh man, what is that stuff I drink? Diatomaceous earth.
Okay.
So they might have sparked back up because I took myself off of carbs for months and months and months, and I just started eating some more carbs over the holidays, and they usually get really active with that.
Okay.
I don't know if that's why you're seeing the mucus or not, though.
Yeah, it could even just be like a byproduct of that over a period of time. Let's have you do so like when you say parasites, are you talking like diarrhea and things like this, or you
No,
just
I didn't even know they were there. I consulted a medical intuitive like almost 2 years ago, and he said that I had parasites in my gut.
Okay. And so
I didn't have any symptoms of them. I mean,
okay. So let's have you do this. Like so there's that ANS support, but let's have you do you have rosemary verbenin or helichrysum? Okay.
I have
So
both.
let's have you go like back and forth between like taking a couple drops of ANS and then like later in the day or something do the rosemary verbenin and then go back to the ANS and then the next time do a little bit of helichrysum, like kind of keep going back and forth. So one in the morning, one in the evening, like 2-3 drops each one. And so the thing that the ANS is going to do is it helps to rebalance like a stressed out digestive tract, and it helps like with nerve innervation to the gut. It's like sometimes we have like an issue where like the gut kind of falls asleep, like how when you sit on your foot it falls asleep, but we don't have the sensory nerves to feel that. And so this helps to stimulate the neurological function, like the innervation to the gut, but it also kind of rehabs like a stressed out digestive tract. And like I'd say like more than half the population has a stressed out digestive tract. So I mean, that is not uncommon at all. The rotation of the rosemary verbenin and the helichrysum will actually break down the mucus buildup in the digestive tract. And so, I mean, there's some other oils that you could put on topically, but I think you could probably nail it with those two. Like you could also like rub hyssop on the gut, like, you know, in lotion, like 6-8 drops and rub it on the gut. You could also use thuja to do it, but those would not want to take internal. That would just be a simple topical application. You could augment the things you're doing internal with that topically, but you probably can knock it all out with just the internal treatment. But the goal there is, it actually even looks like it's a little bit in your urinary tract as well. Are you having any urinary issues?
Nope.
Okay. So
I'm
let's just do that.
exhausted. I'm
Exhausted. Yeah. I mean,
exhausted.
if you have a lot of mucus buildup, it becomes harder for the muscles to contract. It would be harder for you to assimilate nutrients and things from your food. The thing with you are exhausted. Okay, let's make a slight modification to what we said. So you're going to rotate between ANS, and let's have you just do rosemary verbena. Let's have you drop the helichrysum. Just go back and forth between the rosemary verbena and the ANS, and still targets the same things that we're talking about, but a little bit more emphasis on the fatigue that kind of comes along with that. You know, after a few days, I would start using, maybe after 4 or 5 days of doing that treatment, I'd follow it up with one of the soft forms of thyme, like, again, going back to like thyme thuyonol, geranol, lanolol. For this, like any of the soft thymes would work. And I would just start doing a couple, like 2-3 drops, like 2 to 3 times a day. And that is to strengthen the immune system, but also like revitalize your energy levels. And the reason to use it softer is like you're not really wanting to stimulate something, you're wanting to kind of more fortify it and like be able to still be like relaxed, where sometimes when you take things that are stimulating, they strengthen a little bit, but they kind of get you going a little bit, and it's a little bit of like, you know, having some caffeine and then you bottom out a little bit. And so like with something that's been there for a while, I like kind of more of the softer approaches, more consistently over a period of time, produces a much longer lasting result.
Okay.
And like if we're thinking of that too, you know, it's the beginning of the cold and flu season. And so, you know, we want to also strengthen your body for, you know, the winter time. And so the thyme should help with that, you know, helping to resolve everything at first with the other things, but the thyme should help with that. And any of the things that you would like to do, I kind of like Ravensara for you, like applied like topically, but like in kind of big dosages, like 15-20 drops at a time in some lotion, and then just rub it on the body. You could also do Neoli, like we were just talking about. Ravensara and Neoli would both like improve energy levels. I mean, we could go to cinnamon, but
I didn't do
let's
well.
try this for a few days, and then I might have you, instead of taking the cinnamon internally, I might have you just do some things where you just sit and inhale cinnamon for 20, 25 inhalations a couple times a day, because like the thing with the cinnamon, and you could kind of almost do it with peppermint too. But it's both cinnamon and peppermint are things that you stimulate body processes with, like, like when the body has gone through like colds and flus and allergies and an injury and whatever has been going on, the thing is like some of the body systems just they're firing on 3 cylinders instead of all 4 cylinders, and so you're just never quite getting your feet under you. And so
That's how it feels.
yeah, I anytime you see like chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, it's a lymphatic issue. It can be a sensory nerve issue as well, but let's treat what we see right now and then give it a couple, like maybe a week, see how your energy rebounds. And there's just something I'm missing here. Like, give me just a second here. You have some cedar.
Yes.
Take like a 4-ounce bottle of like witch hazel or alcohol or something. Take like, I mean, you could even do like an 8-ounce bottle, but like I'm thinking about like 4 ounces, and take your bottle of cedar and just dump the whole thing in it, and then shake it up, and then do a whole like body tonic, like, just all over your body, even behind your ears, like everything. And you have a couple of things with that. So for one, anything that's like a big tree or real resinous, it's fortifying to the body, it's fortifying to the nerves. It's not stimulating, it's fortifying. Like it just kind of gives you like a strength that's there. But any time you support like venous blood flow, like which is blood moving back towards the heart, you are also supporting like vein health and lymphatic function. And I think when you're dealing with fatigue and everything, that is one of the byproducts of sluggish lymphatic function is fatigue, brain fog, things like that. And so let's support the veins and do these other things that we're talking about, but let's support the veins and fortify the body a bit and see if this doesn't help rejuvenate the body. You should start feeling something within a couple of days, but I would say after 4 or 5 days, you should start feeling something even more. But I think we just need to like really double down on like fortifying the body, like strengthening the body, but getting the vein health and vein function, the venous function, like improved.
It sounds good. Because I can feel fine and I have energy, and then all of a sudden it's like somebody just pulled the plug.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Is it happening at certain parts of the day, or just?
Oh no,
it's just all over, random time,
any
day?
given time,
Yeah,
any given
okay.
temperature, indoors, outdoors.
Yeah.
Like it's got a mind of its own.
Yeah, that's probably lymphatic.
Okay.
Yeah, like your body just like when that starts to happen, if you think about like the lymphatic system is tied to your circulation, it's tied to your inflammatory response, but it's also tied to how hormones, partially how hormones are transported in the body. And so if it gets sluggish and things aren't moving, then it's like sending out packages and then UPS never delivers them. or, they get lost and it takes 3 weeks, and so when you start seeing like symptoms like that, when it's just like super random, hormones are probably not hitting the receptor sites. And so I would double down on what we just said and just say that's probably a lymphatic issue. Not so much that the lymphatic system is causing the problem, but it's not carrying the hormones where they should be going. And so it should help with that as well.
And the witch hazel cedar combination, do that daily for 3 days?
Daily, and if you're up to it, I do it twice a day.
Okay.
I mean, there was a couple of times where I was like having a little bit of a difficult time. I did it like every 4 to 6 hours.
Oh, okay.
I just drop what I was doing, go in the bedroom, like lather all down. And a lot of times when I would do it, like I would just go, okay, I'm just going to take a 5-minute break, and I'd lay down and just let it kind of assimilate. And then I'd pop back up and go do my thing and work for about 4 or 5 hours, and then take a break and go do it again. And then do it right when I woke up and right when I went to bed. And it helped quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm a believer. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I actually I put my hand up for a client, but we ended up talking about me.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, fine. What's up with your client?
She got diagnosed with Derkham's disease. It's a
I'm
rare,
not familiar. What's
it's a
different?
rare fibrocystic disease. She now all of a sudden has cysts all over her body. She said they develop overnight.
Wow,
They
that's crazy.
itch. Yeah, they itch and they burn. One of there is no cure, but one of the maintenance treatments is lymphatic massage, and she's been getting lymphatic massage for the last couple of days, but it makes her skin burn even more.
Let me educate myself a little bit on that. Like I see some things that I would like to treat, but let me look that up a little bit, and we'll shoot you out an email.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I just want to validate what I'm seeing and make sure that I'm seeing it accurately.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
All right.
Derkham's, right?
Yes.
D-U-R
DER
D-E-R. Okay.
CUM.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna send us
Some stuff on Derkham's.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a new one. I haven't heard that. Or
Yeah,
maybe
this
I've
would
heard
be
it by.
super rare.
Okay.
Okay,
It's like
thank you.
sometimes I've heard things by different names. Like in the old days, we called things by slang names, and so I wonder if I have notes on it. But I'll look it up and we'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Take care.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Cindy, and then Marianne.
Hey, Miss Cindy.
Hey, Greg. So should I just do everything that you just said for everybody?
I know, huh? Well, that's the thing. We've been talking like around here, and it's like, man, winter is coming. Like we gotta start gearing up for the winter time, and even if it's just. We are coming out of a couple of years of the pandemic, and even if it's just peace of mind that we just fortify ourselves going through the wintertime through cold and flu season, or you never know. I mean, I read the things that are going on in China, and I don't know how much of it is politics over there and how much of it is what's really happening, but when the pandemic started, I was like, when it's all said and done, everybody's gonna have PTSD after this. So, it's going to be a thing even a few years after it's done. And so, keeping your immune system strong is always good, and keeping lymphatic function. I mean, you remember back so many years ago, we used to always talk about the lymphatic system. I mean, I think it's probably the most undertreated area in the body, that in the skin, and it needs constant attention,
So for the cedar
Mhm.
time, how many days to do that one?
Oh, you could use the bottle up. Yeah. I mean, you
But-
literally could do it for the next couple of years and be okay.
But what's reasonable, Greg? Like an 8-ounce
Well,
bottle?
this is like my indicator. Like, so when I was using it, it was a while back, and I just, like you just get tired and you're a little run down, and we've been traveling a whole bunch. And I was just like, I wasn't bouncing back like I used to. And granted, like getting older and everything, so of course I'm not bouncing back like 10 years ago, but still, like something seemed off. And I started doing it multiple times a day. And I was like, I'm going to do this for, 2 weeks. And as soon as I started feeling better, lo and behold, I forgot to do it multiple times a day. So like with something like that, you do it because you don't feel good. And when you start feeling good, it will start to diminish because you're busy doing other things or you're not thinking about it. And so I would say do it until you start feeling better.
So do you think 2 or 3 bottles, 8-ounce bottles, is enough to get started?
Oh, like you probably won't even make it through one.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, 3 bottles, because like even like what you're doing the like covering the whole body, it really, like, that's the thing that's really nice with those body tonics is a little goes a long way. And so like, you take an 8-ounce bottle, that's going to last you a while. And so I think I made a 16-ounce bottle and half of it is still on my nightstand.
Okay.
You
Right.
know, and so every once in a while I throw it on just because like, oh yeah, remember when I wasn't feeling that? Ugh. And I throw it on and it feels good. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I should be doing it every day. And then I forget,
Yeah.
that's why it's on my nightstand. So I don't forget. I look at it and still go, it'll be okay. You reach for it when you don't feel good.
Right.
Yeah.
So I ordered some frankincense, and I know that I noticed there's several different types.
Mhm.
So for pain in the body, I ordered it for Goldie
Okay.
because she has back pain, and she had read somewhere that it's good for pain. So how would I tell? And I got the one that just said frankincense, and it's $15.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So how does she use it?
I mean, you can do it topically, but I would actually probably do 2 to 3 drops internally, like 2 to 3 times a day.
So
Like have in a little water, a little juice, something like that. But even if she just put it on her tongue, it would still be fine.
okay.
Yeah. What kind of pain is she having? Like what's going on?
Oh, she's always she has back pain, back spasms in the muscles,
Okay.
and it makes her not be able to function. Like she has to lay on a heating pad, and she takes some pretty strong medication at times, and it's always around something emotional happening that throws her in it.
Yeah.
But she hasn't been open to the oils until she read that about
Okay.
frankincense.
Because I mean, if we go down that rabbit hole, even if she's not going to do that right now, still marjoram could be helpful. Because marjoram's antispasmodic, but it's also has a transmuting effect. So if there's old like resentments and things, it doesn't necessarily release trauma, but it reduces some of the stresses and resentments that can potentially be there. The other one, like if there's really bad spasms, one of the things that you wouldn't really think of it as like being for spasms, but it's wintergreen, and wintergreen can be incredibly good for really wound up tight muscles that like have been in spasm so long that they've almost become like in these like calcified cramps.
Right.
Like calcified is just basically a chronic cramp. And the wintergreen could help unwind that. When it's a bit more of, like you said, like an emotional issue, I mean, I always like kind of going to the health rate thing. I always like kind of helping to release lower emotions when it comes to that. I like opening up the arms and the legs just so there is like less dissociation or elemental activity. By cleaning and opening up the spine, I mean, ideally with that you could do the pain relief psychogenic, or I mean, poplar is the ideal thing to use. It's just super expensive.
Right.
But like I take that back. We could make that ointment for her, like that came in the Metatron class. That's a poplar balsam CO2, and she could rub that on the spot, and actually that would hit that ticket and not be expensive.
Okay, so how do I order that? What do I say to order?
We have it up on the site. Robert just put the link there, but I'm happy to, if you email me, to send you the link.
Yeah,
as
you
well.
let us know what you need.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I think we posted the thing for you, and Robert's, thank you so much, Robert. And Robert, congratulations on the grandbaby.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the frankincense will probably help, but I don't know that it's going to resolve it, but it will help.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then go ahead, Marianne, then Sahaja.
Hi.
Hey, Marianne, how are you?
Well, I'm a lot's going on, and I appreciate your input. I think I had mentioned in the past that I had been looking for housing and was batting a zero. Every place I signed up for had a 2, 3, one place a 4-year waiting list. And out of the blue, on a whim, I went to a place that had not even been on my radar screen. And that's another whole story that I won't go into. But it was a magical situation where this place is known for long waiting lists, so I hadn't considered it. Make a long story short, within a week, I had the keys in my hand.
Yay.
And the office manager said to me, I want you to know that this doesn't happen to us. It was quite magical. And I just felt all the work that I had been doing, clearing the lower chakras to allow more light to come in, was working. And I have a long story, and I don't want to take your time regarding this matter, but it was quite blissful. And
Nice.
at the same time, there were complications which were equally frustrating. And anyway, I've moved, and I'm in an organizational phase of my move. I'm losing everything. I can't find anything. I'm trying so hard to get organized. And the other night I had a dream, and I sort of like your input on this. In the dream, there were 3 individuals: me, a person that I was wanting to say goodbye to, and a third person who was more an observer. But I felt very connected to all of them. And I wanted to say goodbye to this person, but I wanted it to be mutual in some way. And the dream went on. I said goodbye to this person, and there was such a warm, loving response in return. And it just was, I woke up and I thought, what a sweet, sweet dream. I mean, it just made me feel so happy and wonderful inside. But then I started thinking, who is it I'm trying to say goodbye to? And, I'd think of various people, but I really didn't feel that it was, that I hadn't, I don't know, that I had unresolved stuff about someone that I said goodbye to. And then I started thinking, I'm trying to say goodbye to something in myself. And so I've been struggling with, well, what am I trying to say goodbye to? And I thought, well, what's holding me back? And what part of myself would I really like to say goodbye to? And I struggled with it, but then I realized, well, the part I really would love to say goodbye to is my tendency to take on other people's projections. And in the dream, it was like my physical self was saying, that there was an interaction maybe with my mind, and the person that was the observer, it felt like was a higher, like a guide or a higher level of functioning. And I don't know if I'm on the right track.
You're definitely circling the drain. Yeah.
And
you're getting it.
also I'm saying goodbye to my sight, to my hearing. I mean, this through the move has been a major, major struggle. And, I hope that, I will have some sight. But I started thinking it's still a loss that I'm struggling with. And yet in the same way, I truly believe that we see with more than just our eyes, and that I don't know, I have this confidence that it's okay, that I will develop what I need as I go along. And I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
I feel, the body can see in different ways. And so it's all a jumble, and I'm struggling. My computer broke down, so that's why I haven't been so involved. And that was a major loss, but it's felt like it's an incubation time that I had to, I don't know, that I was getting something, but I'm struggling. I mean, I'm trying so hard.
I think you're nailing a lot of it, and I love that you're just contemplating. I think that's one of the great things a dream could do, is cause contemplation and reflection, and observing the different areas in your life and things like that. That person that's the observer, like that. Like whenever I hear that feels like higher soulish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it feels like there's a part of you that's there, that's being present. There's these other pieces I would say that just from what you were saying, I think there's a situation that you're potentially saying goodbye to. And I would say that there's a conflict or a potential conflict there that is not yours to resolve. You know, and you know, the thing with kind of being in the place that you're in, like you being in kind of a good place or a happy place or just a place of content, you know, if other people are being upset or agitated or weird, and you're kind of in a good place, it minimizes the entanglement that could go on. You know, I had this one situation, like I'll give you an example. I have this one situation that every time that I would do something where like I would start to not just be like successful, but like let's call it successful, like being confident and successful, like being good at what you're doing. Like, and you know, you go and you interact with some people and you're like, that felt really good. That felt really, you know, like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. There would always be this like little weird fear that would pop up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on? Like, cause it's not in my psyche, right?
Right.
It's not like I'm sitting and going, oh, if this happens, XYZ is going to happen, the other shoe is going to drop, but there's like a fear there. And, you know, I went through and I looked at all kinds of things. I examined all kinds of things. I did healings on all kinds of things. Never changed. Never changed. I mean, I could be in the middle of like giving a lecture and I could feel that thing stir up. And it wasn't overwhelming, but it was like somebody doing this in front of your face. Like, I'm not touching you, but I'm there, right?
Right.
And so, and I realized that I'd had this conflict with a boss in my youth that long story that I too don't want to get into, but the boss got arrested by the FBI. Let's just say that. And, you know, I was in my early 20s and let's just say I was very vocal about what he had done. And I realized that there was like an entanglement with that person because I was very upset and I was upset at what he had done. I was upset at how he had treated me and the other employees. And, you know, I was upset. He did a bunch of things that were really not nice. And when I kind of processed that and let go of that feeling went away. And the reason that fear kept coming up is, you know, the things that we talk about in all these different classes where, you know, we have these entanglements that happen. We have these situations where it's not like you're thinking about it, but there is like this kind of energetic like connection with these situations that when the time comes, and energy starts flowing through you or something different, that entanglement still kind of attracts a certain kind of energy. And so I would say there's a little bit of fear that's associated with the situation, whatever it might be. And, you know, I think you were in the Phoenix class, weren't you?
No,
She was having to move that weekend
Okay.
because it happened.
I was in the middle, I think, of the move.
Okay. We'll send you some instructions and everything on something to do. But basically what I'd like you to do is like kind of think of like 4 or 5 situations that this potentially could be. And we'll get you set up with doing some of the steps of the Phoenix technique. And that should really resolve that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It feels like I have a pattern of taking on projections that aren't mine. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a projection.
Well,
and
there's a clinical name for it.
Yeah.
You're a nice person. And
Well,
and
I wasn't thinking of that one.
yeah, but like that's what happens when people are nice and other people project a bunch of negativity towards you. We take it on as like something that we have to resolve, or we're concerned because they're upset or they're agitated or they're being really willful, when sometimes it's just not your problem. It's just not. And you know, it's great to have compassion and loving kindness, but also every once in a while you have to be able to go, that's not me, that's not my situation, that's you, and not taking that on, you know.
Yeah.
And this is an issue that nice people have. Like people project things onto you and you feel it's like something to resolve, and you know, it's a great problem to have in a way, because it means you're kind-hearted, but at the same time it's still a problem.
But
Like,
that
you know what I mean? It
kindness
still
can turn
causes you
quickly
problems.
when you're
And
in the midst of this.
yeah, it still causes you problems.
Yeah.
I mean, when we talk about it around here, I always go, yeah, I don't have that issue.
Well, I was thinking of it in terms too of being a family dynamic. And
it could be a family dynamic. It could be, you know, something that you took from childhood, but also just kind-hearted or tender-hearted people. This is one of the struggles that they have.
okay.
Yeah, like you gotta sometimes, you know, just be ready to push back and just tell a person like, that's not mine. Like, there's nothing wrong in doing it, especially when it's just them being like projecting a bunch of things at you. You know, it's not always a thing that you have to resolve, you know. And like when you really kind of can make peace with that piece of information, it's very liberating. It's very, very liberating. You know, I knew this lady. She's a very, very sweet lady. Very, very super nice. And she had like a health facility, and the nurses in the health facility knew that she was super nice, and so they weren't doing the documentation that they needed for her to maintain her license. And you know, she was bringing me in as a consultant, and I was like, you got to have a come to Jesus meeting with these nurses. Like, if you don't get this under control, you're going to lose your place. And she kept saying, I understand, I get it. And she would have these talks, and they knew that she would be nice about it every step of the way. And I said, if you can't do it, let's just acknowledge that, and you hire somebody that can come in and be kind of the fangs and teeth, you know, the fangs and claws of the situation for, you know, you to be able to get people back into place. And she was so nice, she didn't even want to put them through that, and she ended up losing her facility because, I mean, she was just nice to the bone, and these people just took advantage of her. And that's what happens sometimes. You're a sheep surrounded by wolves, and you know, it doesn't mean that you have to be mean or anything, but you can just say, that's not mine. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying that. That's just not mine. Like, that's not my problem to resolve. It's totally okay for you to say that. And even if you can't verbalize it in the situation, what's that?
I feel when I did do that, it came back to bite me.
Sometimes you might need to do it without verbalizing it.
With what?
Without verbalizing it to the person.
Yeah.
Instead of saying it to their face, like, not my problem, they say whatever they're going to say, and then just internally you're like, not my problem. I don't need to resolve this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm too verbal about it.
Well, I mean, we always want like resolution. Like, think of it like this. We don't like having conflict. So we try to resolve it. We try to avoid it. We try to manage it. And in a situation like that, the ability to sit with the conflict and not react to it
Yeah.
is where the liberation comes. Like, so you verbalizing it is still trying to resolve it. Like,
Yeah.
not my problem, it's your problem.
Right.
And they could be projecting it onto you and they don't like that answer, so they're going to come at you harder.
Right.
But you do things like, very interesting. Yeah, let me think about that. You
Okay.
show that you've been heard, didn't say that you're going to do anything,
Right.
and you don't. You don't have to do, there's times where you need to take action, but I suspect these situations, they're wanting something from you that they don't deserve or that's not necessary.
Mhm.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
That's helpful. It's really helpful. Thank you.
So like internally, like they're saying all those things and you're just quietly just going, okay, still not my issue. Internally you say it, but you don't have to say it externally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, if it helps, like just even when they're doing it, I like the ability just to sit with it and be present with it. But if it gets a little too overwhelming, as they're talking and doing whatever, just start to do a little mantra in your head. Om mani padme hum, 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 om mani padme hum. You're just quietly kind of doing that. And yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're a very sweet person.
Thank you.
It's one of those things that everything has its struggle, everything has its difficulty, and being nice, it makes you have to be able to take a punch better or defend yourself a little bit better, because people see niceness or somebody loving as weakness, and it's not weak, but you sometimes become a little bit more of a target.
Mm. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So in terms of oils,
Yeah, we're going to message you with what I'd like you to do and everything, and we got that in motion already.
okay, thank you.
You're so welcome.
I need help
Yeah.
till I get back my strength.
Yeah. We still have one of the kids made. Oh, she does. Okay.
And then go ahead, Sahaja, then Barbara.
Hey, Sajananda.
Hi there. Thank you.
Hey, we're going to see you this weekend, yeah?
No, I just made my reservations.
Good.
I have I wanted to say my scalenes are killing me. I know that you've talked about them a lot. It's that place from where my neck and my shoulder attach, and I woke up about 4 days ago, or it just sort of built up really bad, so I can't really turn my head a lot. And I've been putting marjoram, slathering it on. I'm just wondering if there's any other suggestions you have for
How's your breath? How's your breathing?
my breathing is good, and I've been doing some extra breathing practices, and it's not congested at all, as
Okay.
far as I know, unless I'm in delusion.
Okay. So when you expand, like when you start to take a deep breath, does it feel like your chest can expand? Does
Hold
it feel
on.
like something's kind of holding it so you can't get like full expansion?
Not really. Maybe toward the very end, like right up, like under my collarbones a little. But I have a pretty full breath. I mean,
You
I do
do?
breathing practice every day.
Okay.
Do some pranayama. Yeah, I feel
Like
it
this,
doesn't.
this is gonna sound weird, but like, so when you breathe, like you have the expansion like this, right? Like when you're inhaling and then exhaling, inhaling.
Yeah,
Do you feel that you expand also this way?
hold on. I can, yeah. I mean, I
Does
don't,
it work?
it works. I can expand that way.
But like, does it happen naturally or do you have to kind of work at it?
Hold on. It happens pretty naturally.
Okay.
At least if, I mean, it's not like if I was sitting here just not thinking about my breathing, it'd probably be a lot more shallow, you know, but it's not like I can feel that it's constricted or anything.
Okay. I'm still like, I still am getting a hit on this. Let me send over a picture to Samantha that she'll post.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So she's gonna post this here real quick.
Okay.
Give me one sec, guys. Okay, right. Right spot.
Okay, so you see that there's this like little group of muscles and it's on the side.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect you have an issue right there.
Uh-huh.
And it's not going to show up as a pain. It's not going to show up. I mean, sometimes it does, but a lot of times what it does is it just, for you to have your respiration, it doesn't allow for the rib cage to elevate as easily as it could. So then the scalenes and the sternocleidomastoid, the muscles up in the neck, have to work harder to elevate the rib cage for your inhalation. And so what I'd like you to do is, like you see, it's like kind of directly below the armpit, you know, like if you follow the ear down, go down below the armpit, and it's like a little bit below the nipple there, like in that area.
Yeah.
So like if you just kind of like that same stuff you've been rubbing on your neck, rub on each side of your rib cage there.
Okay, so the marjoram.
Yeah, do the marjoram, vetiver, spikenard, ginger, you know, anything that would deal with spasms or trigger points or anything like that.
Well, you have me doing like these 5 different oils for the spot in the middle of my back, which is somewhere in that area, but more on my back. I'm taking nerve help, pain relief, psychogenic, I think, one of the pain reliefs. Unwind, that unwind blend, and CRC. I mean, I'm doing all that
You
already.
use the unwind blend, but on the sides.
On the sides, okay.
Let's
At least
try
I
that.
can reach, at least I can reach the sides.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Let's focus on the sides for a while. Okay, so just the unwind blend. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
great.
yeah.
Okay.
And if you poke around there, I mean, sometimes it'll feel like not just tender, it almost feels like almost like it's bruised.
Uh-huh.
It's because the nerves are inflamed.
Okay. If it's bruised,
Well, it's not going to show a bruise, but like when you know how like when you push on a bruise, it kind of has that certain kind of pain.
yeah.
When it's on the side like that, and those muscles are so thin and so right up against the rib cage that when you push on them, it feels like you're pushing on a bruise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Should I put something like I have time linalool that you told me to take?
Yeah, you could
put on
use
it.
time linalool on that. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Because you already recommended that for the spot on my back for the nerve.
Yeah, yeah, you
Okay.
could totally use it for that.
Okay. We'll play with that and see how that goes.
Good, good, good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, see you in a few days.
Okay, great. I look forward to it.
And then go ahead, Barbara, then Denise.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey there. I burned the roof of my mouth last week and I was wondering, I didn't do this, but I was wondering about, would lavender work? Can I
Yeah,
peel that
like
there?
lavender would take some of the sting out. Like, you know, sometimes it will actually even go to the point of blistering. It won't make the blister go away, but it will take the pain out. After a few days, you could switch over to something like rosemary just to increase circulation. And, you know, with a burn, you always want to keep it wet, but because it's in your mouth is staying wet. So really, you just want to reduce any chance, like if it broke the skin of like infection or irritation or something like that. And so, you know, do it with putting it in water and swishing it around rather than just topically applying it until it becomes less sensitive. But, you know, right when it happened, like you can put something on it, but the skin will blister pretty quickly after a burn, like, you know, within a minute or so. And so, you know, it might take 2 minutes, but I mean, it happens pretty quick. So, but lavender would have worked. Yeah. I mean, it'll take the pain out now, but you know, you want to kind of minimize the burn. The sooner you can get to the burn, the better.
I wasn't quite sure about the application. So initially, maybe rub
just
it
put
on or
some-
switch with water.
Yeah, put several drops of lavender on the mouth and just like rub it up on the spot.
Okay, so my instinct was correct. I just didn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And second question, I've started to have this very high-pitched ringing, but just in my right ear. Comes and goes. I don't know that it's associated with anything in particular. Just kind of
Try just inhaling some sage or maybe putting several drops of sage on your wrist, and it should resolve in a day or two.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
And then go ahead, Denise, then Deborah.
Hey, Denise.
Hi. Well, gosh, I'm trying to think. I think if we could you check to see if I have any parasites? Because I have two things going. One, I had a vitreous detachment in my left eye, and then my right hip for about 5 weeks has been really off, and it's really wrapping down around my knee. You know, the pain level is. So, but I really feel like there's something underneath all driving this, possibly. Do you know, besides stress, possibly
Right.
stress too?
So tell me a little bit more about the hip.
When I first had it, it's like up in the high glute, right? That
Right.
area. And then it really, like, I want to say, seized up. All right. And then it's never really totally worked out. But when it initially really seized up, it actually went down to my foot, you know, and then it's backed off overall and wraps around my knee, but occasionally it'll radiate down into the foot.
Okay.
And it has been about 4 or 5 weeks on that.
And so when it radiated down to your foot, it went down the back of your leg, down the side of your leg,
More the side,
like the outside or the inside.
outside.
And when it past the knee, it was down the calf or down the shin?
Get past the knee. It was to the right side, the outside of the calf, and then kind of down towards my ankle.
Okay. Okay. Um,
I don't know if it's, if I should see a chiropractor, if it's a nerve thing, I kind of exhausted myself trying to figure out.
right. So
how to-
the kind of pain that you're describing is nerve pain. When you see it travel like that, that it doesn't sound like it's sciatica. Although the superior gluteal nerve flares off the sciatic nerve, and can hit like the outer part of the butt cheek and then have it radiate down the leg, but it sounds like one of the other nerves. And so I would use something like
Poplar, like you told the one person.
yeah, you could use poplar, but you might even want to go even simpler. Like, do you have I'm gonna
Want to think about it?
no, I'm leaning towards a couple of different things. And so I'm just gonna throw them out there, and you might want to rotate to see which one just brings you the most, like, does that, reduces it the most.
Okay.
So one you could just go marjoram, but you're gonna hit like the butt cheek and go all the way down the side of your leg, down to the knee and down the side, kind of cover that same area that it radiated down to. So you could do it with marjoram, but I think it's probably a bit more inflamed than just it's a spasm. And so I kind of like the idea of using something like yarrow or milfoil or a chamomile, even lavender. Lavender is antispasmodic. It's not antispasmodic quite like marjoram is, but it's still antispasmodic and it has some anti-inflammatory properties to it. I would go kind of heavy on. Do you have any of those?
I think I have lavender. I don't think I have yarrow. I do have some marjoram, but I can, order.
Well, let's play with what you have and see what works, and then you can always get more of what works rather than just having to buy a bunch of stuff. And so let's have you start with marjoram, and then if that doesn't work, let's have you I wouldn't even put the lavender in carrier oil. I would just kind of lay on your side in the bed and just sprinkle it all the way down from your hip, down the side of your leg, down the side of your calf, and all the way down into the ankle, and then to rub it in and see if that brings you some relief.
Okay.
Yarrow is very antispasmodic. It's do you have that Blue Healer body tonic from several months ago in one of the classes?
I haven't been in one of your classes yet.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I
So
haven't been in
let's just start with that, because I was going to say, if you had that Blue Healer blend, I mean, it's all the blue oils, but let's start with what you got. Let's start with what you got.
I could order it, right? But do you pick up if I have any parasites at all?
I don't think it's parasites, but you definitely have some nerve issue in that hip. I'm not quite sure why that nerve issue is happening. I mean, sometimes it's a misalignment. Sometimes the SI joint is not quite functioning like it should. Sometimes there's something going on with the head of the femur. But are you in shoes a lot during the day, or you're on your feet or in shoes a lot?
No, not really. only, I go barefoot or with socks a lot in the house. And then if I'm out, of course, I'm wearing shoes.
And how much of a heel do they have?
They're more like a hiking tennis shoe.
Hiking
So,
tennis shoe.
yeah.
Okay. I mean that all sounds pretty solid. So
Yeah, I'm pretty, because I've had 3-foot surgeries. I really don't do heels and stuff.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's stick with what we have there. Like, I mean, how it reacts to the treatment will also tell us a little bit more. I mean, you could always put a little bit of the marjoram on the low back, like those last 3 or 4 vertebrae in the low back.
Okay.
You could even put a little bit of peppermint or some sort of minty oil on that area, just to take some of the pain out of the back if there's some there, but also relax the muscles, the little spinal muscles there.
Would that be straight, like you put it on knee?
Yeah, you could put it on with a little lotion, but most times on myself, I just do it straight.
Okay.
Yeah, and like rub it like really into and around the spine.
Okay.
And do that for a few days, and then email us and let us know, and we can kind of troubleshoot it from there. But I almost need to see like how is it going to react to these things.
Thank you. I do want to do one of your classes, so that in the new year we'll be looking at that.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll look forward to you and Samantha kind of.
Well, let's get you feeling better first.
I
get you.
would appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
so
I
welcome.
really appreciate it.
So,
And then go ahead, Deborah, then Zakia.
hey, Deborah.
We can't hear you yet. Let's get you unmuted.
Did that do it? Hi.
Yes. Good.
Hey.
I just got in last night.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how was your trip?
It was amazing.
Good.
Yeah. So
Good way to recharge your battery. Yeah.
Yeah, and spiritually open up new doors.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
You're fading out on us.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
I'm trying to catch up on Metatron, the Metatron class.
Oh, yeah.
that I did. So I started working on it this morning. And I'm wondering, I haven't gotten too far. Can I jump in tomorrow's study group, even though
Yeah,
I
sure.
haven't done?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, and then hearing everyone talk about, like, at the end of the 10 days of writing, my back and right hip was so bad I couldn't lean down to put my shoes on. You know, you take your shoes on and off a lot. And it's better now, but you do think that's all just psoas stuff?
Probably. I mean, were you having to climb a lot, or you're on flats? Like, what were you doing?
Well, I took the easy route because I didn't think I could get in shape enough. So I rode an e-bike.
Okay.
But it was, even though it was an e-bike, I wanted to feel like I was riding a bike. So I would put it down into the lowest setting.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. But I'll just work on relaxing and catching up on the jet lag and try to address it maybe the next Q&A if it's still bothering me.
Yeah, like one of the things that you could do that's like a real passive thing to do with stretching it, because you're also wanting to relax your body, relax your back, and you almost want to put yourself in a reverse position of being hunched over like you were on the bike.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that you can do is, I mean, you can do this from like the bed where you lay kind of on the edge and then just let one leg hang over the edge, so you're laying flat and then one leg is like going backwards, like you're almost like kind of laying in an arched position, but only one leg at a time. You could do that while inhaling something like, you could inhale hyssop, you could inhale marjoram. You know what actually might be good is you have the Metatron kit, like the Health Rays and the Spasmophilia. I'd go back and forth between those two with you, like laying with that leg off the bed. I would do both sides, but I think you said your right one's a little bit worse. I
always.
would let that hang off a little bit more, and then be sure to drink plenty of water. You were riding a bunch, you were in a different environment, and then you had to fly, and so dehydration is probably playing a little bit of a role in that.
I have to tell you, it was the hardest trip I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just the riding, it was the cultural experience. It
Mhm.
was, I see Fabi, and she had
Mhm.
warned me that this was going to be a really hard trip.
Mhm.
And I'm still emotionally kind of trying to process and recover what exactly I just went through. It was,
Did something bad happen, or you just had a rough time going through it all?
every day something happened to me.
Oh.
I got off the plane. I didn't even get off the plane, and someone stepped on my foot, my broken toe, and was like yelling at me that I was being rude because I was getting off ahead of them. That's how my trip started. And every day something happened that was really challenging. Like, why, just having to learn how to let go, not have control.
Mhm.
And, and then I re-entered the US and I'm facing the exact same thing, having not have closure on the house that I own
Mhm.
with, and not knowing how that's going to get resolved. So, and having to let go of all of that while I was over there. So it's just monumental. And I think the Metatron class is so instrumental in helping me process this.
Oh, good.
Does that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a pretty therapeutic class. Yeah. I mean, it goes after stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The hardest part of the Metatron class is the segment E.
okay.
Just a heads up.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad
The other ones are soothing. That one's not quite that soothing.
Well,
Yeah.
for me, your classes, you always say, oh, that should be soothing. And they usually aren't for me.
Yeah.
But I think that using that benzoin should help, right? That
Mhm. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
disconnect the emotion to a lot of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you're back on this side of the pond.
Me too. All right. Take care.
You bet. Take care.
And then go ahead, Zakia, that's Sonia.
Hey, Zakia.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now I can.
Hi, Plan Prana family. How's everybody?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Sorry I won't see your face today this weekend.
Yeah, that's okay, but we'll make it happen sometime soon.
Yeah. Malkia doesn't think she can stand 8 hours sitting in a chair without her back going out.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so I'll just get on my regular Zoom.
Okay.
So here's my client just had her pinky toe amputated because she had gangrene. She didn't know she had gangrene. She does have diabetes.
Yeah.
She's not on insulin. She had no pain in her feet. So I said, well, how did you find out you had gangrene? She said, upon examination, the doctor said it was festering to emit gases. She had no discoloration, no flaking of skin, nothing. She said after she had that one pinky toe amputated, all her other toes turned black, the foot is swollen, the skin is scaling and flaking. And what I need to ask you is that they put her on 2 IV medications twice a day to fight the infection, but they can't figure out where the infection is coming from. So I had her do lavender hydrosol simply to spray on her toes to heal this, the external part and help eliminate some pain. But I can't even think about what to do for the infection internal, because they can't figure out where it's coming from.
How old is she?
She's 73, 74, 5'3", about, and that's another thing. She's about 128 now, and she says normally she's like 165. She's been losing weight and don't know why for the last couple of months.
Is she in a lot of pain?
Her foot, yes.
And which foot was it?
It was the left foot.
I would put her on several drops of myrrh a couple of times a day, and then several drops of, like, you could go 3 or 4 drops of myrrh 2 to 3 times a day, and then maybe once or twice a day. I would do some form of soft time, like time Tylenol, time Geranol. If you didn't have that, you could go Bayloral, but I would probably go Times.
What's the first time you said?
Tylenol.
Spell that.
THUYANOL. Sometimes the Y is a J.
Okay,
I
okay.
think we spell it with a Y or a
We spell it with a Y.
yeah.
And what's the second time you said?
Geranol or Linalol.
Okay,
I think she's got a little bit of a kidney infection, but it's low grade.
okay.
Like it's like I see a spot on the right side and I see 2 or 3 spots on the left side.
Should I have her do, I don't know, do something like a drop or 2 of juniper a couple of times a week or something?
The myrrh and the thyme should address it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any sort of circulation support?
Yeah, she has some circulation issues, yeah.
Yeah, like that's gonna help the body fight off the effects down in the toes. Like she needs to have that like addressed.
Right.
Again, like cedar, like anything that's like a venous tonic, like cedar. Even if you give her gotu kola, the herb gotu kola internally.
Yeah, yeah.
But like kind of decent dosages, like, 3-4 capsules a couple of times a day.
Okay,
Like she has too much pressure, like like pressure in her lower limbs.
uh-huh. Okay, doke, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And then I just want to make sure everyone knows you're in the right spot for the special practice. We're just going to finish up with the questions here and then we'll roll right into
Yeah,
that.
let me get Sonia and then we'll go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, Sonia.
Where did you say that you saw that research about sage for dementias?
Oh, I can look it up and try to send you a link. Yeah. Yeah, they talked about it for potentially for dementia, but it was also like it had neuroprotective qualities to it.
Yeah, and I've seen some of that for Spanish sage, but they call it what do you call it? They call it Spanish sage Lavender la folia.
Right.
Is that the same as?
Right, Spanish.
So it's a different species than the usual?
No, that would be Spanish sage.
And so it's not a, is it a salvia?
Yeah, it's still in the family, if I remember right. It's
maybe
still in the family, but it's just a different chemotype.
It says S. lavandula folia, so maybe the S is salvia.
Right.
Okay. And then, I keep having problems with my heart chakra hurting, and
what's going on? Your heart chakra, front or back?
Front, but I think some of it goes to the back, and especially if things are like one time when we were doing the blessings and the healing stuff, and I focused on Putin because he's doing some Nazi things, and so it was like it got stuck, and it like just really hurt for.
Yeah, when something like that happens, like do a bunch of cleansing on the solar plexus.
Solar plexus?
Yeah, like you use just something that's cleansing, like chakra root cleanser, Palo Santo, just something to clean out the solar plexus, or do healing on the solar plexus.
Okay.
Front and back.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said Palo Santo, and what was the other one?
Like chakra root cleanser, just anything that's a bit cleansing. Yeah. Gilead, chakra root cleanser, Palo Santo, even like you could do hyssop, but something like that, I like to blow it out with like Palo Santo or something.
Okay. I seem to have better luck with some of the gentler things. Palo Santo.
If you want more gentle, like do why don't you go like frankincense? Like do a little frankincense on the solar plexus, front and back. It would be soft, but it'd still be cleansing.
There's something. Well, frankincense I've used a lot. It gives me really bad arthritis. I mean, my joints and everything just hurts.
When you use frankincense, really?
Yeah, I was trying to get rid of some arthritic, so I was taking the tablets.
Why don't you try the sage then? Try one of the sages.
Okay.
Yeah, do the sage. It'll be soft, it'll be gentle, but still will get the job done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone was wondering what is in the Rue complex versus just Rue?
Let me look that up. It's rue, a lot of St. John's wort. It's a lot of rue, a lot of St. John's wort, galbanum, alemi, cistus, and saffron. Okay, so I think that's it. Okay, so we are going to focus on the thymus, right? The thymus, which is behind the breastbone, tied to the immune response. And last week we did issues about strengthening the spleen. So we were looking at a certain part of the immune system. Here we're going to look at this aspect of the thymus, which is also tied to your immune response, the ability to fight off viruses and bacteria. And so I'm going to give you a list of some single oils. I'm going to give you a couple of blends, but these are super specific to the thymus itself, right? We're not just saying like all the immune oils treat everything in the immune system, but certain things target something when we're going specific better than other things, right? So these are all A choices. So any form of thyme, Melissa, and Melissa is really good for the thymus. It's just it's pricey. Anise, Ravensara, any form of chamomile, and either blue tansy or the dark blue tansy, or Monarda. And then blends, the Monarda complex or the blend armor. Now, if you don't have any of the things that I just said, grab something that's immune related and it will have an impact. These were just the A choices. Okay, and so when you want to work the thymus, you're really working probably more than anything the back heart, but we also want to calm down and be aware of the body, like be connected to the body, and not disconnected, like where we're like it all up in our head, you could kind of say, because that will actually throw off immune response. And then also the health rays would play a role in the function of the immune system. And so we're going to kind of play with all of this all together in one little protocol. And if this is done on a regular basis, this really helps to strengthen the thymus and the immune response. Okay, so with that, what I'd like you to do is choose whatever oil you're going to use, and then just begin inhaling it. You're just taking long, slow, deep breaths. Not even directing it anywhere. You're just taking long, slow, deep breaths. You're still taking long, slow, deep breaths. And then just be still for a second. Be still, be aware, and we're going to practice body awareness. So whatever part of your body kind of jumps out, be it like some tension, achiness, some sort of pain, discomfort, or your attention just goes to this part of your body. Keep your awareness on that spot of your body and begin inhaling the oil into that area of your body. You're still practicing awareness on that part of your body. And then just be still for a moment. And again, your awareness is on whatever part of your body jumps out. And then begin inhaling with your awareness on that part of your body. Okay, just let it go for a moment. Now we're going to work the health raise, and we're going to do it by moving our attention away from the body and moving it about 2 feet out the outside of your body. And think of it like this, wherever you put your attention, energy follows. So if you put your attention out a couple of feet, then as you do this practice, the energy follows. So you're trying to manually open up the health raise, right? So let's have you put your awareness about 2 feet out from your body and start down on your feet and legs. Just inhale about 2 feet out from your body on your legs. Explore the front, the back, the sides. And then your hips and your pelvis. Your low back, your low abdomen. Your whole torso, the front, the back, your upper back, your chest. You're 2 feet out. Your shoulders, your arms. Your neck. Your head, your whole head. And then just be still for a moment. And let's just stay on the head, but now double the space out. So you did 2 feet, now do 4 feet. You're about 4 feet out, you're on the head, you're taking long, slow, deep breaths. Your neck, your shoulders, your arms, you're about 4 feet out. Your torso, your chest, your upper back, mid back, your abdomen. Your hips, your pelvis. And your legs, upper, lower legs, ankles, feet. And then just be still. Just be still, be aware. You can do a bit further out, but let's focus on the back heart now. So your awareness is in the area between your shoulder blades. You're taking long, slow, deep breaths. Long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the back heart. And you're still on the back heart. You're taking long, slow, deep breaths. And then just be still, be aware, just let it go for a moment. Begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on the back heart. It's into the protocol. You're taking long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the back heart. If you only did one thing out of this protocol, it's the back heart. Really emphasize the back heart. We're posting this little single protocol here, this little segment in the notes. And so even in parentheses, I have like emphasize next to the back heart. So you really want to emphasize this part. You're still taking long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on the back heart between the shoulder blades. And then just be still, be aware. Be still, be aware. Feels good.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to stick with the back heart. Again, begin taking long, slow, deep breaths. Long, slow, deep breaths. You're still taking long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the back heart. Move your awareness down to the basic chakra, the bottom of the tailbone. And then just let go. Begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on the back heart, the area between your shoulder blades. Your awareness is on the bottom of the tailbone. And then just be still. Notice how you feel. Notice your body, your emotions, your mind. So the emphasis on the thymus is the back heart. All the other things are just kind of a way to augment or to be supportive. But the big piece here is the more that you work the back heart, the more that you're fortifying the thymus. I find that the Melissa, it's expensive, but if you do have issues with the thymus, and you know it's a nervine, so it's very supportive to the nerves. It can reduce palpitations in the heart, and it's, you know, Monarda is the most antiviral oil in the aromatherapy world, but a close second is actually Melissa. And it's in Monarda complex, but it's so kind of expensive that it's not always cost effective. And so, but if there's a strong issue with the thymus, even if the thymus is too overactivated, like in autoimmune issues, inhaling the Melissa with your awareness on your heart and your back heart, but especially the back heart, it's very soothing to the thymus, at the same time strengthening and fortifying. So it kind of helps to regulate. You know, a lot of times when we're trying to regulate the thymus for autoimmune issues, we use Moroccan thyme. And that works really well. It's very inexpensive and it's pretty solid. But, you know, Melissa is invaluable. It's one of those precious oils that is crazy priced. And so, and it's, you know, it's in the top 5 most adulterated oils out there. You know, there's whole like, I know people, they're not friends of mine, but I know of people that they blend citronella and lemongrass and lemon to make a Melissa smelling oil that is a fraction of the cost. And it does smell like it, but it doesn't have the chemistry. It doesn't have the energetics or the chemistry. And so, you know, you got to be sure that you're getting good Melissa if you are going to go down that route. And yeah, I think that's good. So we're going to jump over to the Astara Blessing of the Prayer Petitions. Join us if you'd like, but if not, we're on for tomorrow night for the Metatron study group, and we're also on for the 2 sessions for Astara before that. So if you can join us, great, and if not, hopefully we see you on the weekend or next week. Take care, you guys.